fighting tooth and nail. Felt it deep just to see it fail. What I know versus what I feel. What is hope and what I know is real, but I do know. When I dream of you.
Good morning, I'm Hacksaw. Welcome back to the channel. You join me in a very wet Lithuania this morning. As you can see from the footage, I got royally drenched in possibly the worst weather that I have ever encountered on a motorbike, which is not great. I ride pretty much all year round, and I've ridden in basically every kind of weather, but that was awful. Anyway, I'm making my way north today, so I'm heading towards Latvia, making a few stops on the way. I've been saying for months that I was going to travel around the north of Europe, and I was basically right. I think what most people assume is the north of Europe is where I am at the moment. But as it turns out, I've been lying this whole time, because according to the Guinness Book of World Records, that stone on the right hand side that you can see in the distance is actually the central point of Europe. And they measure it basically from the top to bottom, right the way down to the Canary Islands, all the way across from the Azores over to the Urals, and it's pretty wide as it turns out, and much more north than we expect. So actually this in Lithuania is the central point, it's the middle of Europe. They didn't count Malta in it, but even if they did, it would have been about 100 metres slightly further away. So yeah, but any way you look at it and any measurement that you take, Lithuania is essentially the central point of Europe. Very surprising. Anywho, so today I am making my way north. My next stop is about an hour up the road. I'm only about 20 kilometres out of Vilnius now, and yeah, my destination by the end of today is to be in Latvia, not too far away from Riga, and I'm going to be spending a couple of nights just outside of Riga. So yeah, let's hit the road. I've just stopped for a second because, as you can see, the road surface is fucking terrible. There's no road surface at all. It is just sand and stone. And what's happened is there's basically, like, the road surface is ribbed and it has shaken one of my wing mirrors loose. So I'm just going to see if I can tighten it up while I'm stopped and then get back on my way. But holy shit, this road is awful. I had no idea. Just turned from proper paved road into this, no warning at all, and this is what it's been like for miles. And yeah, I'm going to have to see if I can reach a paved road soon, because this is really not fun. I made it, finally. I am about 30 or so kilometres from Riga in Latvia. It was one hell of a journey. It's been a long day of riding. Yeah, I took a stop at the museum, did a bit of unexpected off-roading. The roads are atrocious in Lithuania and Latvia. Latvia in particular is even worse actually than Lithuania. About 10% of the roads in Lithuania are unpaved, and I think it's more in Latvia. They're pretty poor, and the ones that are made are, like, unless you're on the proper main roads, they are pretty shonky. And it just kind of stopped. So was riding along normal paved road, and then nothing, just stopped, and it was dirt, sand, rocks, whatever really. So yeah, not the funnest experience, but it's all part of the adventure. I also am, largely speaking, dry, but the part of me that isn't is my boots, which are so my feet are just completely wet, and my boots, the waterproofing that I put on them just doesn't work. And they are a little bit older now, and I use them pretty much every day. They're a bit, I think they're probably coming to end of life, let's put it that way. They're pretty screwed, so I might have a look in Riga. There's a couple of motorbike shops that sell gear, so I might have a look and see if I can get some touring boots that would be a bit more appropriate, a bit more waterproof, that kind of stuff. So I'll have a look. Maybe I can retire these ones. I also have gotten here quite late. It's about 8:45, so I picked up a few things in Lidl, as you can see. I actually went to 2 supermarkets because I went to a place called Top, which didn't have what I needed. And by what I needed, what I mean is Sudocrem, because along with the sweaty arse that I've had over the last couple of... This is very much TMI, so if you don't fancy this, then fast forward about 30 seconds. With the very hot weather over the last few days, the sweat, and now today the rain, more sweat, because it was also warm, waterproofs, everything else. And then my motorbiking jeans, I have now got saddle sores on my arse and on the backs of my legs, which is really sore. So I actually didn't find any Sudocrem, but I can't find it, but it's basically like a baby wound protector stuff, so I'm going to try that and see if it helps. Yeah, but that's me. So I'm going to sign off for the day and go and make myself some dinner. So you can definitely tell I'm tired because my watch battery has died, which means that with the juddering earlier has caused the battery to run out. I don't even know where the microphone has gone. That's just disappeared. And my dinner consists of a bag of green leaves, some potatoes that came in a bag that I put in a saucepan for 5 minutes, and some sausages that are made for children, which again I found in a bag in a fridge bit of a supermarket. It's been a very long day, but I did also find some quite interesting stuff. I found some long chips, so I'm going to try them later. But also, I have no idea what these are. Giant squid. It looks like some sort of dried. It's like a bit like a jerky. I think they're like dried strips of giant squid. So that's kind of cool. I'm going to give you a quick tour of the apartment while I'm waiting for my food to cool down a little bit. So there's the kitchen area, which is nice. There's oven and hob, a washing machine which I'm about to use. I'm going to put my motorbike jeans in there and hopefully have them dry by tomorrow. Fridge, all sorts of nice bits and pieces on the top. There's a little table, which is actually really cute. There's some stools on the side, a little bit of seating. There's a desk, cupboard there with some storage. Bed is here, and then just through here we have got the bathroom, which again, it's pretty good. I think there's a heated rack, so that's where I think I'm gonna put my jeans and hopefully they'll be ready for tomorrow. There is also somewhere, oh yeah, here. So that there is a projector screen, and there is a projector in that cupboard, which means you can have yourself a little movie night, which I think is a really lovely idea. Anyway, I'm going to sign off for the night because I'm shattered, and I will see you in the morning where I'm going to go into Riga, I think, see what's what. So, see you then. That was a really fun dinner. That whole meal with drinks was €35, I think, which is the most I think I've spent on anything food-wise since I've been away. Probably a little bit on the pricey side, but it's alright, it's fun. Anyway, I'm completely done in, so I'm heading back to my pad for the night. I'm going to pick up some provisions on the way for tomorrow's breakfast and probably lunch, and then I'm going to plan my route for tomorrow. I've got roughly 170-200 kilometers to do tomorrow to get myself up into Estonia, where I'm going to be spending the next few days before I catch the ferry to Sweden on Monday. So a busy few days, so yeah, I'm going to make the most of it. Good morning. You join me in Sigulda, which is slap bang in the middle basically of Latvia. It's a little bit east of Riga, and just stopped for a few provisions for lunch, so I'm going to go for a walk in the local forests and things. There's basically a national park here before I go to a museum this afternoon. Just I feel like I've been a bit off my game, and I've got a cracking headache again today, so I think yeah, I'm definitely a bit overtired. But anyway, I do have quite a few miles that I need to get in today, so I've already done about 80 kilometers this morning, and I've got another maybe 150, 200 to go to get to my destination, which is basically it's the beach resort that all of the Estonians use in the summer, which is a nice big sandy beach in a sort of crescent shape around town, a little bit southwest of Tallinn. So that's my destination for today, but I want to check out this national park first, do a little bit of riding, go for a little walk in the countryside, and yeah, I'll be there this evening. Yeah, I just wanted to check with my zoom that shop does say Zoo Bums. Just checking. So there's me making my way through the countryside, through to somewhere called Cesis, and I was basically planning on just having a little walk in the countryside, and then came across a sign that said Camel Zoo, and I thought, well, I can't just go past that sign, can I? So that's where I'm at. It's got camels and llamas and what are those other things? The other things that aren't llamas. Oh my god, my brain, it's gone. A couple of flightless birds, which is always terrifying. As you can see, I got completely rained on again, but it was totally worth it to visit this museum, which is a secret Soviet era or Soviet Latvian bunker. They built quite a few of these into the landscape back in the Cold War. So this one was built from 1970 and was actually opened in 1980 for all of the officials in Soviet Latvia to basically be evacuated to in the event of some kind of big war, and we're assuming nuclear war. This one was actually never a military installation, it was always just used for civilian personnel, and it was only ever used once, and that was in a simulation back in 1984 where they brought 300 government officials down here in a simulated response to an attack. It's a super interesting place. They've basically left it as it was, so there's lots of things that you can play with and touch, and because nothing actually works anymore, they're actually quite happy for you to press buttons and click switches. incredibly, there are a couple of rooms you cannot take photos in, 2 of them because there are actually still working apparatus. The building is actually underneath what is now a clinic. It's a hospital, and so they have a backup generator and air circulation system underneath in the bunker, which still works. You can't take pictures of those. But the other thing was a buttload of maps of other bunkers and interesting critical infrastructure across Latvia, which seems like a bit of a risk having it still on show, but there you go. Yeah, you could put gas masks on. I didn't really want to do that. Really interesting though to see this place that is a bit stuck in time from the sort of late 1970s to 1980s. So they always had about 20 people stationed there, just keeping the place running. And all the way through the Cold War, obviously they were worried about a US attack, a US either chemical or nuclear attack. And so they would keep those people stationed there. And when the Soviets eventually left Latvia, and they declared their independence, they actually kept the place running for another 10 years just in case the Soviets came back. So it was a really strange time for them, I imagine, where they kind of had this weird middle ground area. But yeah, really interesting place to visit. So I've now managed to visit a secret nuclear bunker in the UK and a secret Soviet nuclear bunker in Latvia. Nice. It's cool to see the differences in the way that basically the same kind of stuff. They were both just terrified that each other would throw a nuclear weapon across the water at each other. But the actual way that they managed things was very similar. It's just that their attitude towards it, you can see the propaganda still on the walls in Soviet Russian, telling them that you have to respect the bread. You have to eat the bread that you're given and respect that it's been provided by 1,000 farmers across the Soviet Union, and things like that, and that work is something that is important and will keep us all free and all this stuff. Absolutely fascinating. Yeah. Good morning. So you joined me in Pärnu, which is about 180 kilometers or so from Tallinn in Estonia, which is my final stop really before I now get the boat to Sweden and start to head homeward. So this is actually the last bit of travel I'm going to be doing away from home before I actually start looping back and coming back on myself. I calculated yesterday that I've now done just over 2,000 miles, which is pretty cool. I think the journey back is a little bit less because there's a boat and the line will be a bit more direct. I've had a really good week in the Baltics so far. Really interesting how all the countries are very different. They have a different feel, and I thought they'd be very similar, and some of the aspects of them are quite similar, but they're actually all independent countries, all independent feel, and they all have their pros and cons, especially on a motorbike. The roads have been interesting, especially in Latvia, but Estonia I think is very similar. So it should be quite interesting to see how that goes. So on the agenda for today is I'm going to head out into a local national park, basically in the middle of the country, so it's a little bit away from here, about an hour or so away. And then I'll be basically getting to Tallinn for this evening, and then I'm staying there for 2 nights. So I won't be riding the bike tomorrow, I'll be exploring Tallinn instead. And then on Monday night, I'm catching the ferry over to Sweden, to Stockholm. Another busy ride today. It's going to be about an hour and a half or so this morning, and then another hour and a half to 2 hours a bit later on today. But that'll be the last long ride that I'll do, certainly for the next few days. So I'm quite looking forward to having a bit of a break from riding, because it does take its toll. It's it's tiring. But yeah, it'll be a good day's ride, I think. And hopefully the weather will hold out today. I think we're expecting rain this evening and then tomorrow and Monday, so it'll be good to be in the city then for those days, because then I can just chill and not really worry about riding the bike too much. I'll only have a sort of 15-20 minute ride to get it onto the boat, and then after that I can relax a little bit. You find me today in the Summa National Park here in Estonia, where we're hunting we're hunting moose. This is very, very pretty. And yeah, the Summa National Park has a huge array of wildlife, including apparently foxes, boars, the occasional bear, elk, deer, and every now and again a moose. So yeah. Oh, and beavers, which is what I'm actually really looking for. Ow, and lots of mosquitoes. One thing you don't really get from the videos really is the GoPro tends to make everything nice and smooth, and you don't really get the angles, you don't really get the depth. And some of those dirt roads, I mean, you know, I was doing sometimes on a 12% decline, which is quite a lot on a sport tired bike with very little grip in the gravel, and just having this thing go down these hills was very hairy. There was one point where I was absolutely 100% convinced that I was going to come off the bike, and I just thought, right, I need to make sure that I'm ditching it somewhere where I can pick it up, but also where I'm not going to hurt myself. So, you know, I was taking it slowly, but obviously the last thing you want to do is go so slow that you've got no momentum, because as soon as you've got no momentum, then you're more likely to go down, I think. So you kind of have to keep it at a constant speed. It was just an absolute nightmare, some of those roads. What I really want to do is come back and do it on, you know, a proper adventure bike. But yeah, didn't really come across in the videos. Anyway, I've made it to Tallinn, at the tippy top of Estonia, which means that I'm here it's actually Sunday now, Sunday morning. So I'm here today, and then tomorrow afternoon, late afternoon, I pop the bike on the boat and then have an overnight trip to Stockholm. So I'm going to enjoy Tallinn for the next couple of days. I've got a few little plans, so I'm going to, I mean, today the weather is looking pretty dodgy, and I think it should be raining as well tomorrow, so I'm trying to get out and about and take a few pictures and do that stuff today while the weather is just about holding out. And then I'm going to try and check out, there's a maritime museum on the waterside which looks really cool. It's got like a submarine and boats and all sorts, so I want to go and have a look at that. There's also a museum of the occupation, which I'm learning loads about actually in the Baltic states, which I just didn't really, I feel like I don't know enough about. And learning more about the occupation of these 3 states plus Ukraine plus Poland, I think is very, it's not just important but quite prescient, and especially what's happening in the world at the moment. I think it's a very good idea that we remember the lessons from history. And so yeah, I want to educate myself as much as I can while I'm here really, and just get absorbed in it. But anyway, so I'm going to leave it there. Thank you for coming with me again. It's a bit of a long one this time, but I hope you've enjoyed the video. Please hit like, it all helps. Press the subscribe button and you will find out about the next video, which will probably be in a few days when I have finished my trip to Stockholm. I also have some questions answered, so that'll be the next video coming out in the next few days as well. And yeah, I will see you in the next one. Cheers.